Aloha, this is Richard Halverson, ITS148, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do my assignment 5 here, which is to create a TK Inter application uh, where where you have a rectangle and a circle, and wherever you click, it it says whether you're inside the circle or outside the circle, or it says whether you're inside the rectangle or outside the rectangle, and it also gives you the coordinates. So so if you look in the it's if you look in your textbook for um, programming assignment 11.4, you may notice, by the way, that all the programming assignments, the even number programming assignments, the solutions are out there. I think they're in the back of the book. There's a a, uh, a file you can download that's got all the solutions. Anyway, so I'm going to start with this display the mouse position program, which it's a TK Inter, and when you click around, it gives you the coordinates. Okay, so it's got that. That's this code here, and then I'm also going to use this code here, where when you click around, it says whether you're inside or outside the circle. Okay, so you define a circle here, and then whenever there's a click, you run this whether it's inside the circle program or method with the coordinates and everything, and the click coordinates, and it will return whether or not it's inside the circle or outside the circle, and then it'll display out this message like this. And so I'm going to start with these two programs, which they give you the solutions to, and I'm going to combine them, and then I also have to modify it to make it be able to handle a rectangle. And so for that, I'm going to be adding another thing here to draw the rectangle, and then adding some code to test to see if it's inside or outside the rectangle, and then also add one more method here which actually returns true or false if it's inside or outside the rectangle. So let's get started. Let me start with, well, why don't I start with this code? I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to pull up my favorite editor here and paste it, and I'm going to save this as, this is coordinates or something. Let me go to my desktop, and I'm going to call it coordinates.py. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. dir, okay, here it is, coordinates.py, and if I go python coordinates.py, this thing pops up, and if I click around, I see it tells me the coordinates. This is 0, 0 right up here, and as we go down, the right one, the second number, if we go to the right, the first number increases. Okay, so anyway, that's so that program works, this coordinates program. Let's take a look at this other program here. This is the click inside the circle. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to call it copy, and I'm going to create a new one here, paste, and I'm going to do save as, desktop inside circle.py. And so now I should be able to run, there it is, python inside circle.py. spelled it wrong. Python inside .py. Okay, and this comes up over here. And when I click down, and it says inside is in the circle, is not in the circle, in the circle, not in the circle. But I have to hold the mouse down and move it enough so it actually writes it out on the screen. Okay, very cool. So I have these two programs, and I'm gonna combine them to make it so it looks like this. Okay, so first I'm going to do this inside circle one, and I'm just going to do save as inside, or I'm going to say inside object, whatever. And I'm going to combine the guts out of this one, which is this is what displays out the text, this display position. So this is the command inside this main loop here, which executes, which makes this display position thing display. So I'm going to copy this and go over into my inside object, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, and then I need this display position thing. So let me copy this, and let me put that here. Okay, so this is there, and I'm just going to see what this does. Okay, it's called inside object.py. And this thing pops up. And if I go, oh, I see. So what I click down, it tells me the coordinates, but then once I move it, that takes over. Okay. So anyway, that's cool. All right. So I'm going to have everything be is inside. I'm going to make the coordinates display coordinates inside. I'm going to say I'm going to copy this. Oops. Create text thing here. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put it right up here. Right. So I'm going to go like this. Enter. Back. Paste. Okay, and then so that's going to happen with inside event, and I'm going to have, so this is no longer needed, so I'm going to make it so both of them make this thing execute, and I don't need this anymore. Okay, and this text displays out -5, which would be 5 pixels above the mouse pointer. 5 pixels above the mouse pointer. This would be 4 pixels above the mouse pointer. Let's make it below the mouse pointer, which would be +4. Okay, so now it's going to be 4 below the mouse pointer. And let's see what this looks like. Save. Run. And here we are. And now, okay, it's in the circle, not in the circle, in the circle, not. Okay. And those coordinates are real tight on there. Well, that's okay. We can fix that. I'm going to say inside. and I'm going to say outside. Okay, so that takes care of, I'm going to put this down a little bit farther and make a little bit more room. Okay, so that takes care of the circle. Now, how do we make a rectangle? So I searched think TK Enter Canvas rectangle, and up comes this. I'm just going to click on the first one, and there is a, as you might expect, there's a create rectangle, and these are the coordinates of the rectangle, XY coordinates of the rectangle. This is the upper left, XY, and the lower right. They look like the same coordinates, but anyway, that's maybe not a good one. Well, this is the upper left, and this is the lower Y. This is the upper left, and this is the lower right. Anyway, so if we go back to our code here, let's create a rectangle. It's create rectangle. I'm just going to copy this. Create rectangle. Copy. Self canvas create rectangle. I don't know. 50, 200. Let's see, 50. Let's see, let me look at my notes here. I've got 50, 35, 200, 85. That must be some kind of nice rectangle. And I think that's all I need. I don't need any of the other stuff right now. So that creates, I have to see what that looks like. Okay. This is what it looks like. Okay, so the rectangle looks like this, but we don't say anything about it yet. Okay, so, alright, so let's, okay, so then I want to have some function which says whether we're inside the rectangle or not. So I'm going to do a copy, paste, and I'm going to change this to inside rectangle. And it's going to be, the rectangle is going to be, there's going to be an upper left, and an upper Y, X1, Y1. Okay. So there's going to be an upper left and a lower right, and then a location, and the question is this inside this rectangle? And so I will be returning if x is greater than or equal to x0 and x is less than or equal to x1 and y is less than or equal to y0 and y is greater, no, y is less than or equal to y0, no, greater than or equal to y0, and y is less than or equal to y1. Okay, if that's true, then it's inside the rectangle. If that's not true, it's not inside the rectangle. Alright, and then we need to have a test, and right here we have a test for is inside circle, and so let's just do a copy paste and do the test be is inside rectangle. and it's going to be the same rectangle that we wrote. So I'm just going to copy these coordinates right up here and paste those here. And so there's the inside rectangle coordinates, and it's going to test. Oh yes, yes, okay, this calls it. This calls the function we just created, gives the coordinates of the rectangle and then where it was clicked, and if it's and it's going to write out whether it's inside the rectangle or outside the rectangle. And this does it 5 pixels above. 5 pixels above. This is 5 pixels below. Let's do this 15 pixels above. 15 pixels. Okay, so it'll say whether or not it's inside or outside the rectangle 15 pixels above, and then 5 pixels above it'll say the circle, and then 5 pixels below it'll say the coordinates, give the coordinates. Alright, let's see what this does. So let me run this. And this pops up. And so I can click outside rectangle, inside circle, outside rectangle, inside rectangle, inside circle, outside circle, inside rectangle, outside, outside. And it looks like it works. Alright, so you need to jazz it up so it looks like, so wherever you look, wherever you go, you can read it, and it's big enough, and the rectangle is nicely inside the circle there, like that, symmetrical, and not, where is it? Not here. Not like this. And also this thing just says inside the circle. You want it to say whatever. Alright, so I hope this helps. That should give you enough to do this assignment. Thanks for watching.